The biggest misconception with a lot of people coming in here is that the ring's not a trampoline and the ropes aren't rubber bands. They hurt, especially when you start out. But you have to get used to it. That's why I say you have to do it over and over and over and over. This is more real than people believe or think or know. It's harder than it looks. I've had people last an hour in here and then leave. 1 hour. And you want to be a professional wrestler because it's phony, it's fake. We might know the outcome, but in between, it's up to you to convince me I want to pay to come and watch. I want to see how passionate you are about your business, about your craft. You got to love it, and you can tell.
Your shoes on time, look! Jen, look! No! 1, 2, 3!
My name is Dr. Tom Prichard. I am the head coach of the JPWA, aka Jacobs-Prichard Wrestling Academy. I was born in El Paso, Texas, and as a kid, maybe 4 years old, I was walking in our living room and my older brothers were watching this amazing show on TV, a black and white TV of 4 guys running in the ring in basically their underwear. It looked crazy, but it was so intriguing. And I knew from the minute I saw it, there was something there. It just drew me in. And I wanted to do this my whole life. I was 20 years old when I had my first match. I went to New Orleans, Louisiana, wrestled on TV, getting beat by the stars, shining them up. Eventually, I had my first match in Houston, Texas, continued on wrestling all over the country, and eventually it led me to Smoky Mountain Wrestling with Jim Cornette, probably one of the most fun times of my life. Turning my life into coaching started in 1996. I was offered a gig as a coach in the developmental system for WWE in Stamford, Connecticut. And it just was one of those natural progressions. You don't know if you can coach until you do it. You don't know if you're able to convey a message, convey what you need to do until you try it. And I found that I was more comfortable doing that. Some people get me, some people don't. But it's all a work in progress. I never do the same thing twice. Everybody has a personality, and you have to figure out who to pat on the back, who to kick in the butt. And there's that much distance. So I make a mistake sometimes, but sometimes I'm on track. So people need encouragement, but also some people come in with the attitude of, oh, this is just flip-flops and doing some stunts and things like that. So much more involved. So I either encourage or I kick you in the butt and get you in gear. You just have to connect with them, and hopefully they connect with you and get what you're saying.
Can you leapfrog and just take your
I
time?
moved with my wife to Knoxville after we were finished in Tampa with the WWE developmental system. Glenn Jacobs was running for mayor. He thought, why don't you and I open up a school? He more on the investor side of things, me more on the coaching, hands-on side of things. Because I had done that for WWE. I'd had success in the WWE developmental system. We're in our 4th year now. We've had people signed, we've had people get tryouts, we've had people wrestle all around the local promotions here.
The Thrillbilly Silas Mason and Dangerous Devin Dixon. Oh, trained by the one and only Dr. Tom Prichard. He taught us everything he knows, so much that he doesn't know anymore.
It's the greatest business in the world, and it's the most heartbreaking business in the world. But I tell people all the time, there's 3 kinds of people. There's those who try, those who give it their best shot, and those who do whatever it takes. That's part of figuring this out. This is a fun business, but it's a hard business. We do a 12-week course. Every day is different. It's a lot of repetition, but the message is the same. This should be fun. If it's not fun for you, you're gonna hate every minute of it. Number 2, you have to be safe. So you wanna be safe to know how to fall, safe for your opponent, and you go through the basics and fundamentals. You use that every day. It's what we do in between the action that makes it all come together. That's the glue. That's the straw that stirs the drink. And then once you're done with the 12 weeks, then we do the advanced class. And that's when we get started with the nitty-gritty stuff. That's when we start getting technical. That's when I start really saying, stop, slow down, keep your head up. This is what tells the story. Here, the facials, the body language. Are you hurt? Are you mad? Are you sad? Are you happy? Show me those emotions. Feel them. Everybody feels them. And most of the people in East Tennessee understand a real fight. And just the region itself, they live hard, they work hard, and if they're going to pay money to come see you fight, they want to see you fight. Those who want to do it will, and those who don't and can't won't. And everybody's different, and I've got to reach them. How do I communicate to everyone here who's never been in a ring? How do I explain to them? You have to be authentic. In other words, if you're telling me you're the toughest guy in the world, and you're really not, you're playing a part, nobody's going to buy it. But if you talk to me like you believe it, and you tell me a story like you believe it, chances are people will believe it if you don't tell them any different. We talk about that all the time. If it looks good, you'll see it. If it sounds good, you'll hear it. If it's marketed right, you'll buy it. But if it's real, you will feel it. And everybody will feel it too. If you're real, if you're authentic, if you can do what you say you can do. It's harder to get some people to find out how they are until they find out who they are. Had a kid just last year who's been coming to us and he lacked confidence. And you have to have confidence. He was afraid to come out and be who he is. He was afraid to go out and be a fool in front of people. You can be whoever you want to be when you're in the ring. You can do whatever you want to do in the ring. You got to lose your mind a little bit. You got to say, man, I don't care what anybody's going to say when I go out screaming. I don't care what anybody says when I start kicking and doing these outrageous things. He finally did. He finally broke through. But it's a process. It takes explaining to someone life is a work. Life is a game. Don't take yourself so seriously, and don't take life so seriously, because you're not going to get out of this alive.
Greatest tag team ever. You should say, put that in your daggum camera. Yeah, so you're a little more. That's what I was thinking.
When I first started out as a coach, I used to get so upset when people weren't as passionate as I felt they should be. And man, they just weren't doing the work. They weren't doing what I wanted them to do. Then I realized, and it took me a while to do this too, because again, there were the signs there for me, there were the tools there for me, but I refused to use them. I refused to take it upon myself. And once I did, then I realized it's not about doing things perfectly each and every time. It's about the journey. It's about the process. Not about perfection. I'll take passion over perfection anytime. But you got to get there. And it doesn't just take one big giant leap. Steps. Sometimes I still get frustrated. Sometimes I still get angry. And then I have to bring myself back down and say, whoa, it's the journey. You have to enjoy that along the way.
We want to hear about your Tennessee life. If you know of a person or story you would like to see featured on this program, please write to the address on the screen.